My name is Aisha. I am 30 years old and work as a school teacher. Life is simple. I wake up early, go to school, teach my students, and come back home. My routine is peaceful, but sometimes it feels lonely. My younger sister tells me I should go out more, meet people, and find someone special. But I believe love will find me when the time is right. One day something changed. A new teacher joined our school. His name was Ollie. He was 32 years old, confident and friendly. From the first day, everyone liked him. The students respected him, the teachers found him charming, and the staff always smiled when he passed by. There was something about him. His warm personality, the way he listened when someone spoke, and how he always had the right words to say. At first, I didn't pay much attention. He was just another colleague. But then things started to shift. Ollie made an effort to talk to me. Every morning he would greet me with a bright smile. "Good morning, Aisha. How's your day going?" His voice had a kindness that made me feel noticed, like I was important. One day during lunch break, he sat next to me in the teacher's lounge. "You always sit alone. Don't you like company?" he asked. I laughed. "I just enjoy quiet time." He smiled. "Maybe I can change that." From that day he made sure I was never alone. We started working on school projects together. If I needed help, he was always there. If I looked tired, he would bring me coffee. If I was stressed, he would crack a joke. Slowly, I started looking forward to seeing him every day. One evening as I was leaving school, I saw him standing near my car. "Need a ride home?" he asked. I hesitated for a moment but then nodded. We drove through the quiet city streets, talking about our students, our dreams, and our childhood memories. It felt effortless, like we had known each other forever. That night I couldn't stop smiling. Something about Ollie made me feel special, seen, and understood. But then something strange happened. A few days later, I walked into the staff room and saw Ollie sitting at his desk, speaking softly on the phone. His voice was serious and his expression had changed. He looked up, noticed me, and immediately ended the call. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah, just some family stuff," he said quickly, forcing a smile. There was something in his eyes, a hesitation, a flicker of discomfort. I ignored it. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe I was overthinking. After all, he made me feel happy. And that was all that mattered. Or so I thought that evening. I couldn't shake off the feeling that something wasn't right. Ollie had always been so open, so easy to talk to, but for the first time he looked like he was hiding something. The next day at school, everything seemed normal. He greeted me with his usual warm smile, brought me my favorite coffee, and asked how my morning was. I wanted to believe that everything was fine. But then, after lunch, I heard something that changed everything. I was in the hallway when I overheard two female teachers talking in hushed voices. "Did you know Ollie is married?" one of them whispered. My heart stopped. "No way," the other replied, sounding just as shocked as I felt. "Yes. My cousin knows his wife. Her name is Sarah. They've been married for 3 years." I felt the ground shift beneath me. Married? How could that be? Ollie never mentioned a wife. He never wore a ring. He never gave me any reason to think he was unavailable. I tried to act normal for the rest of the day, but inside my thoughts were racing. That evening I asked him to meet me after work. He agreed. We sat in a quiet cafe away from school where no one could hear our conversation. I need to ask you something, I said, my voice firm but nervous. He leaned forward, his expression curious. Of course. What's wrong? Are you married? His smile disappeared. He sighed and looked away. Yes, he finally admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. My chest tightened. Even though I had heard the rumors, I wasn't prepared to hear it from him. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, my voice shaking. He ran a hand through his hair, looking troubled. Because I didn't want to lose you. Aisha, I know this sounds wrong, but my marriage isn't what it seems. My wife and I, we've been distant for a long time. We don't connect the way we used to. She doesn't understand me. I stared at him, my emotions torn. But she's still your wife, Ollie. He reached for my hand across the table, but I pulled away. You're different, Aisha, he said softly. You make me feel alive again. With you I can be myself. I don't feel trapped. I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe that our connection was special, that it meant something more than just an escape from his unhappy marriage. But deep down I knew the truth. I was not his solution. I was just his distraction. For days I couldn't stop thinking about it. I stopped answering his calls, stopped waiting for him in the staff room. I needed time to think. Then, a week later, something happened that made everything clear. I went to the supermarket after work. As I walked down the aisles, picking up groceries, I heard a familiar voice. Ollie. I turned my head and saw him. But he wasn't alone. Beside him was a woman. She was beautiful, tall, elegant, dressed in a way that made it clear she had style and grace. She was laughing at something he said, and he was smiling at her the same way he used to smile at me. For a moment I felt frozen. He didn't look like a man trapped in an unhappy marriage. He looked like a man who was happy. Everything I had believed about him, about us, crumbled in an instant. I turned and walked out of the store before they could see me. That night I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, my mind filled with one thought. If he could lie to her, he could lie to me too. I needed to make a choice. And this time I needed to choose myself. The next day at school I felt different. Lighter yet heavier at the same time. My heart ached, but my mind was clear. I had seen the truth with my own eyes. Ollie wasn't an unhappy man trapped in a loveless marriage. He was simply a man who wanted more. A man who wasn't satisfied with what he had. And if he could betray the woman he vowed to love, what made me think he wouldn't do the same to me? When I walked into the teacher's lounge, he was there waiting for me like always. Aisha, he said, smiling as if nothing had changed. I've missed you. I forced a smile. We need to talk. He sensed the change in my tone and his expression became serious. Is everything okay? No, I said firmly. It's not. We stepped outside, away from the other teachers. I took a deep breath and faced him. I saw you yesterday, I said. He blinked, confused. What do you mean? At the supermarket. With your wife. His body tensed. He opened his mouth, then closed it. He had no excuse. You looked happy, Ollie, I continued. You were laughing with her. Holding her hand. It didn't seem like a broken marriage to me. He exhaled, rubbing his forehead. It's complicated, Aisha. No, it's not. I cut him off, my voice steady. You lied to me. You made me believe that what we had was special, that you needed me. But the truth is, you just wanted an escape. And I refused to be someone's second choice. He looked at me, pain in his eyes. Aisha, please. I care about you. You're important to me. I shook my head. No, Ollie. If I were important, you would have been honest from the start. If you truly cared about me, you wouldn't have put me in this situation. He had no words. For a moment we stood in silence. Then I took a deep breath and made my final decision. I deserve better, I said. And I'm choosing myself. Then I walked away. That night I sat on my balcony staring at the city lights, thinking about everything that had happened. I had almost fallen for the illusion of love, the idea that I was special, that I was different. But the truth was, I was just another woman he had fooled. Men like Ollie cheat not because they are unhappy, but because they are selfish. They take what they want, never thinking about the damage they leave behind. But I wouldn't let myself be another casualty of his lies. I picked up my phone and called my best friend, Nadia. You were right, I told her. I deserve someone who can love me fully. Someone who doesn't make me a secret. She smiled through the phone. I'm proud of you, Aisha. And for the first time in weeks, I felt proud of myself too. Who is the main character in the story? What is Aisha's job? Where did Aisha and Ollie work? Why was Aisha happy when she met Ollie? What secret did Ollie keep from Aisha? How did Aisha find out the truth about Ollie? What advice did Aisha's best friend give her? What decision did Aisha make in the end?